and we just want to live like free people, and that's what we're going to do. So you bring people like that together who have that mindset, that liberty mindset, you bring them together, and the state will wither away eventually, because it just simply, the idea will wither away. The concept of the state, it's an old idea, and it's a bad one.
Karl Marx said the state would wither away.
Yeah, Karl Marx believed that the state would wither away after growing it to the point that it encompassed everything, and I think we're going in the opposite direction of that, Alex.
Yeah, we did just legalize. They just legalized knives here in New Hampshire, so things are going in the right direction, even with the very initial phases of the Free State Project going on. And that comes back to what I was saying earlier about obedience. There's a civil disobedience and non-cooperation movement going on up here that I've never seen before in the liberty movement. The liberty movement historically has always just been, okay, we're going to run some candidates once every 2 years and 4 years. Get 3% and then come back and run some more candidates. But we actually have people up here who are saying no more. I'm not going to follow
the mainline libertarian movement, when they pick Bob Barr, who is a patriot on the surface, but when you really look at his votes, Mr. CIA, I mean that is a joke.
Yeah, well, that's why I actually resigned publicly from the Libertarian Party before they chose Bob Barr, because I'd seen them going in a really negative direction for a long time. And one of the reasons why the Free State Project was so exciting to me when I first heard about it was because I knew the Libertarian Party wasn't getting any traction, and I knew that it had to be more than just voting. That if voting changed anything, they wouldn't allow it. Clearly, you know this. I mean, you talk about the left-right paradigm all the time, and I know that you've been long out of that. But now I think we need to encourage people to get out of the government paradigm. The idea that there's some sort of benefit that can come from using coercive violence over other people, and
listen. I understand all that, and I appreciate you guys enlightening me or attempting to enlighten me on the deeper nuances of all this. But I've really looked at the angles myself personally, and if I can use state governments as a step to block the federal government that's been colonized by offshore mercantile corporate interests that are bigger than any government in the aggregate, in the sum total. If I can, I'm in a desperate move here just to block total enslavement. So if I can use state governments through 9th and 10th Amendment powers to sabotage the federal takeover, and to then get some fortresses built, at the state level in people's minds, to then demonstrate liberty and then move against the federal government, we can abolish it or whatever we choose at that time.
That's the difference in mindset. I don't want to move against them or anything like that. I just want to live like a free person and ignore them.
But see, that's not how it works. They're moving. Here's the deal. They're moving against the states and federalizing them. So when I say move against them, I mean take back the just powers of the states reserved to the people, and to move against the tyrannical behavior of the feds to block their takeover. See, there's a takeover. The government is getting ready to stage nuke attacks very soon.
They've been taken over. I mean, the states have been beholden to the federal government for decades.
What are you going to do when Homeland Security sets a nuke off in Chicago and when they send men to your house to arrest you, pal? What are you going to do then?
What's that got to do with immigrants?
No. But we're having a larger. Well, we're not just having tiny little discussions down.
I just don't know. I mean, if Homeland Security sends somebody to my house to arrest me, I will probably attempt to videotape it and stream it straight to the internet. Best I can do. What am I going to do? Shoot them?
But listen. But see, what I'm telling you is we have this approaching giant flotilla of tyranny firing on us now. We are under attack. And it's great to talk about paradigm shifts into no state and to think of ourselves as total individuals.
It's not just talk, though.
I'm actually trying to galvanize people into a movement of liberty for smaller government, freedom, self-defense, anti-New World Order, in a desperate attempt just to stop the New World Order from completely taking over.
Admittedly, I am for the idea that states are able to, use their powers the way they wish. So in the case of Arizona, I'm kind of torn. I like that the state is saying that we're not waiting for the federal government on this issue. However, I dislike what they've chosen to do the issue they've chosen to do that on. And I think that it's ultimately not going to work, because California essentially says to the immigrants, come on in, and I guess they're giving them welfare. I don't know exactly what's going on in California precisely, but I do know that they're very friendly. Many of the largest
I don't want anything to do with California. That's why I agree with you, Alex. I mean, if people can use a state government to separate themselves from the federal government, I'm fully in favor of that. I'm fully in favor of the idea of secession.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm not in favor of secession if it's been like it has in Texas, where the media gives attention to some guy living in a cabin who declares himself president because his cousins voted him in. I mean, if we had the legislature move for secession, then I would gauge as a citizen of Texas, whether or not I thought this leadership was good. But sometimes in a secession, you end up getting something even worse. And so, again, I mean, it's
that's because it's about paradigm shift here, and that's about the mindset that these are leaders. Politicians aren't my leaders. Not one of them has ever been. Not one of them will ever be. And so if we get people together who are of that mindset, that independent, freedom-oriented mindset, bring them together to the same place, that gives them a level of influence they've never had before. Because right now, liberty lovers are distributed. They're all over the place, but they're not very many of them, and there's, only one or two here and there. And it's rare that they encounter other people who appreciate freedom. So bringing those people together will allow for the kind of secession that is peaceful and that is liberty-oriented.
All right, well, let me bring this up to you because, I mean, on the same subject of immigration, it integrates into that. I don't have a chance to hear your show a lot, but I hear it from time to time. And always find it to be informative when you're covering the news. But I have gotten that you guys don't think 9/11's an inside job, right?
I don't have an opinion. I've watched the videos, and I think there's some really great questions. I mean, the Building 7 thing is like a big question mark, right? But what I focus on is moving forward because I don't want to take any side of it.
Okay, what do free individuals do then about patented viruses that can be sprayed on you or put on your skin that go in and create basically lobotomies, a selective lobotomy in key areas of your brain to turn you into an emotionalist drone? Because it's being looked at by DARPA to just fly over every city and spray us, and then we'll just be drones that go get on trucks and go to the incinerators. See, you guys are talking about free state projects, and I realize that the globalons is basically what I call them. These global eugenics mass murderers, they've decided that they want to kill everybody. And
it doesn't scare me, Alex.
Right. If they spray me or if they spray you, what are we going to do about it, Alex? All we're going to be is mindless automatons, and we won't care.
I'm going to have the will to expose them and have Chris Matthews attack me next Wednesday is insane. That's in the script.
I have had more fun in the last 3 years since I moved to New Hampshire. I wouldn't care if they they dropped a nuke on New Hampshire because at least I had a good time with other liberty-minded people.
They're not going to drop a nuke. They're already fluorid. I mean, okay, what do you think? I mean, you think water fluoridation's a kind of a squid-belly kook thing?
Well, we don't even have it up here in New Hampshire.
I'm really not sure about that. It seems to me that most people are cow-eyed drones already, so they don't need fluoride.
Well, they've been getting it for 60 years.
They don't have it here in Keene, New Hampshire, and they're not doing any. They're not rising up against the New World Order. Yeah, they're the same old normal humans.
It's the government education, the indoctrination system that really. Well,
sure. It's a complete cocktail overlay. It's just. Point blank, I've got the government documents where they said we're going to put fluoride in the water to brain damage them.
It's really a matter of an approach, Alex. The difference for me one of the big differences I think between our shows is that we approach, we talk about the police state stuff like you do, but we approach things from, what can we do now to achieve liberty in our lifetime?
Well, I'll tell you what I can do. I can explain to people that the scientific dictatorship running things is poisoning them. And if you can get somebody to wake up to that, I mean, because we can talk about we can all talk about who the most radical libertarian is and who the most awesome, I'm so anarchist, I believe humans shouldn't even talk to each other.
There's no doubt you've done a great job of waking people up. And the question is, what do they do once they've woken up? And my answer to that is stop going along with it. Stop obeying. Stop paying the taxes. Stop bowing down to their laws. Say no to the government people. That's why we've been advocating people
Exactly. Why can't Austin, Texas, the people, because in polls the vast majority are against it, get the fluoride out of the water? Why won't more people go protest the national ID card?
They're cowardly. They're scared. The government's a scary organization that hurts people, and so I understand why people are afraid.
And they want to be scary. They now admit it's all about fear.
Sure, of course it's all about fear.
Barack Obama just said that government is the monopoly privilege on the use of force. He said, I mean, to me, that's essentially saying you go along with what I say or I'm going to kill you. Yeah. So, I mean, no doubt about that. But
now, wait a minute. I know the UN in 2001, July 7th, said the state has the monopoly of force and all guns for individuals must be banned. Obama just said that?
Obama didn't say the part about guns being banned, but I'll send you the clip, Alex. I don't have it.
I actually might have it here.
Yeah, we might be able to pull it up. But yeah, he had recently said that about fluoride.
What essentially sets a nation state apart, which is the monopoly on violence.
Start it again.
Essentially sets a nation state apart, which is the monopoly on violence.
Play one more time.
Apart, which is the monopoly on violence. The monopoly on violence.
That's what the state is, and that's why it's so important to get the idea that it's good to be in control of the state, or that the state can do good things,
Well,
or that
can you
if we
play
just
that?
elect the right people.
Sure, well, I'm not saying that. Can you play? No, we need to shrink the state by electing the right people that will shrink it.
It doesn't work. The state is designed to prevent that from happening. If that's going to work, it's going to happen in New Hampshire, where we get enough people together to make that possible, because